can you handle this? Simi, can you handle this? I don't think you can handle this. Guys, I am feeling like Kelly Rowland today. Like, I feel like I'm giving out some Kelly Rowland vibes. Like, anyways, what's poppin'? What's happening? How you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel. Guys, my tongue is orange because I've been drinking Oros. Like, this is the Beyonce of all the drinks out there. So, like... So today I have a story time slash chit chat, but I'm just gonna call it a story time. And I feel like this is long overdue. So, you know, it's just time I set the record straight. It's time I tell you guys about my background and tell you guys how I got my surname, how I basically became Nigerian. So, on the 28th of January in 1993, yes, I'm a 90s kid, and yes, I am 27. But anyways, I was born on the 28th of January in 1993 in the Eastern Cape, and I was born as Simthandile Makoloza, which is my, Makoloza is my mom's family surname. My mom had me at 17, and when that's the case, you're usually raised by, your mom's family or your dad's family, but I was raised by my mom's family, and I took their surname and everything. So yeah, I was basically raised by my grandparents and my uncles. So my mom has 4 siblings, and all those siblings are men. So she was the only girl. There were 5, and then she was the only girl, and then the 4 were men. And yeah, like I was raised by my grandparents and my uncles, because my mom later on moved to Joburg, so I was left with them, back in the Eastern Cape. And before I turned 6, my grandmother passed away, which meant that I was left with my grandfather and my uncles. So yeah, like my grandmother played a very important role in my life, like literally from being a baby until 6. Well, 5, it was before I turned 6, she was in my life. Like, that was basically my mother. And then she passed away December, and I turned 6 in January, the following year in January. And as I've mentioned before, now I was left with my grandfather and my uncles. And yeah, like I was raised by men, guys. I was raised by men, and I love my uncles so much. I love my grandfather so much, but he later on passed away as well. And yeah, like I love them so much. If you know me, like when it comes to my uncles, I don't play games with them. Like, I do not play games with my uncles. Sadly, in 2017 one of them passed away, so I only have 3 left now. In 2011 my grandfather passed away. So yeah, man. But anyways, let me take it back. So I stayed with my uncles from like 6 until 12. Yeah, 12. Yeah, 6 until 12, about to turn 13. The December before I turned 13, because my birthday is in January, so let me say 6 until 12 I was with my uncles. And then from 13 I moved to Joburg to stay with my mom. Like the entire time, even when I was staying in the Eastern Cape, I used to come to Joburg to visit my mom and my stepdad. Like, my mom got married when I think I was 8 or 9. So I'd always come this side to visit them. But when I was 13, that's when I moved completely. That's when I moved to Joburg. I left my uncles in the Eastern Cape. I left my grandfather in the Eastern Cape, and I moved to Joburg. And that's when I was about to start high school. Like, yeah, by grade 8. I started grade 8 at 13. So yo, guys, it was so hard to leave my uncles and my grandfather, because they were my heart, basically. I love my uncles, I love my grandfather, so it was very hard to leave them. But then I was getting older, so I wasn't gonna be raised by men for the rest of my life. I mean, I was becoming a teenager, So my mom took me, and then I came here, and you know, I started high school. So you know, I was still some Tandile Makoloza even when I came to stay here. But then I don't know, my mom, oh, my stepdad is Nigerian, by the way. So my mom kept mentioning that they will change my surname, and I was like, yeah. Like, I didn't know. I had mixed feelings about it because I had been Simtanile Makoloza all my life. So she was like, she will change my surname. Like, she kept mentioning it here and there. But when it finally happened, I had no idea. Like, I had no idea. I was in grade 9. And then I was in grade 9. How old was I? I was like 14 when it happened. My class teacher came into the class, and then he was like, I don't understand why you would change your surname from such a simple surname into such a hard one. I was like, yeah, it's changed? Really? He was like, yeah, you know, now you are Sumtandila Ofebu. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, my mom has always mentioned it, but then she didn't tell me that she was finally doing it. So I'm also surprised. So guys, it was so hard for me to get used to that surname because I had been Sumtandila Makoloza from birth until 13 basically. So now from 14 I became Sumtandila Ofebu. Guys, it was so hard. And you know how kids are, like at school, like in high school, they are so mean. Like my surname has a silent G. It's actually spelled as Ofegbu. So I was teased, I think now because they were so used to me being Makoloza, now Ofebu. So they teased me for a very long time. They'll be like Ofegbu. They will call me all sorts of things. And it was hard for me to write it as well. For the longest time, I struggled to write it because I was so used to my old surname. But then, you know, I later on embraced it and got used to it. And I feel like it is the bomb. I mean, who else has that surname out here in SA? No one, exactly. So I love my unique name, you know, Simtandila Ofebu, aka Sim Ofebu. I love it. I really, really love it. So that's how my surname was basically changed. And you know, talking about, I want to share my whole Nigerian experience. I ain't in the Eastern Cape. We have Xhosas. So basically from like from like birth until I was 12, I was in the Eastern Cape. And you know, I was just exposed to my Xhosa people. So now when I came to Joburg, I got exposed to my stepdad's, you know, side of the family, and you know, that whole culture. So yeah, like guys, I basically became Nigerian. So yeah, again, I was exposed to, you know, being around my dad and his brothers and everyone else, you know, they'd always be in the house. And you know, my lifestyle changed. Like everything about me became Nigerian basically, until today. So from like, let's say from like 13 until 27, you know, I've been exposed to the West African culture. I had to get used to it because like West Africans are very different compared to us. You know, even from the way that they speak, like they're very hard people. So at first I was very like, I used to take offense to everything, like the way that they communicate sometimes, because they are like, they have this hard nature. And it's not even like someone is mean, but then that's how they are. That's how even in Nigeria they are. So bona, to them, what's normal to us, we find it very offensive and mean. So you know, I had to get used to the way that they speak. I had to get used to the way that, you know, they do things. I had to familiarize myself with the food, because for the longest time I was the one that made my dad's food. Like he taught me how to make his food, and in the house I was the one that cooks, that cooked. Even now that I'm back here, I am still cooking. So you know, I had to learn how to cook Nigerian food. And you know, I eat it as well, but not everything, but yeah, like most things I eat them. because I can cook them, you know. So it was like a whole change, and I won't lie, for the longest time I was very confused. Like, I was very confused. I forgot about my South African Xhosa way of doing things, and I was more West African in doing the things that I was doing, because, you know, like, when the father is okay, West African in the family, obviously a lot of things will be influenced by him because he's the head of the family. So, you know, I was very confused for a very long time, you know, because I followed my West African part. And, you know, I've been to Nigeria as well, and basically that's how I went from being completely a Xhosa from the Eastern Cape into a West African, because of, you know, my dad and the West Africanness that I was brought up into. So basically now I have like two cultures. I have the Xhosa culture, I have the West African culture. And I told you guys I was very confused for the longest time, because, you know, I came from being Xhosa to being basically West African and following everything West African. So I got very confused. I didn't know what was happening. But as I got older and I moved out, that's when I found my South African roots again, because the places that I stayed in, you know, I stayed with South Africans. There were no West Africans. So that's how I found, you know, that South Africanness in me again. And I think that's when I was able to now balance my, you know, South Africanness to my West Africanness, because now I embrace the both of them. Now it's like, you know, I'm a combination of both. I'm not dominated by being South African, I'm not dominated by being West African, but then, you know, I'm like SA West African, I'm SA Niger. And let me tell you something, guys, even if you're not you know, related by blood to a certain culture, but then if you're brought up into it, you stay in that culture for a very long time, it has like a huge influence in your life. And that's how it was for me. You know, I'm not Nigerian by blood, but because I was brought up in that culture, I became very West African. Like, I became very West African until I got older and I was able to, you know, have a balance of the two. So yeah, guys, that's how I basically became Nigerian, and that's how I got my surname. And guys, I love my surname so much. When I get married, I don't even think I want to change it, like, because I feel like it's so unique. I mean, who else is Sim or Febu in this world, yeah? So yeah, it's definitely something that I have to think about. I love the fact that, you know, I can embrace two different cultures, and I love the fact that, you know, I was exposed to two different cultures. It made me very open-minded, and I think that's where, that's where my love for West African men came from as well, because I was raised by a West African man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, and that is it. That is it. I hope you guys won't be confused anymore, because I told you how I got my surname. So I'm basically Xhosa by blood, but then, you know, from being raised in the West African culture, I have some West African in me. So yeah, don't be confused. I am South African by blood, but then by what can I say? By what? By not adoption. Okay, yeah, like basically I was adopted into the West African culture. So yeah, I hope I've explained it properly to you guys. And yeah, man, I will see you guys next time. Please don't forget to like, leave a comment down below, subscribe, even hit the notification bell, guys. Like, I don't know why I always forget to say that, but yeah, please hit the notification bell, and please share with family, with friends, and, you know, just tell people the girl is out there and she's killing it and she's coming for everything out there, man. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.